Good evening, everyone. This is Ryan Hoyme, A.K.A. Massage Nerd, and this show is brought to you by our friends at Massage Magazine Insurance Plus. Massage Magazine has been exploring touch therapies for over 25 years and has used that industry knowledge to develop the best value liability insurance in the business. And I want to thank Eric Dalton for sponsoring this presentation and offering Massage Nerd listeners to a 10% discount on all his home study courses. Use the code MN10 when you check out at ericdalton.com. And another sponsor is Shalene Taylor. She turned her struggling massage therapy practice into multi-million-dollar, multi-location success, and now is showing others how to build a purposeful and profitable massage practice. Visit www.iambiz.com. Okay, hi everyone. This is Ryan Hoyme, A.K.A. Massage Nerd, and today I'm being interviewed by Jim Burns. Welcome, Big Jim.
Hi Ryan, this is fun.
Yeah. So I'll let you take the show then. So.
Great. Well, Massage Nerd audience, I'm so glad you joined us today. When I was interviewed by Ryan a number of months ago, I realized that Ryan has had the chance to meet and talk with some fascinating people and find out about their history and their visions and their dreams and passion, but maybe people don't know who Ryan is. So I decided at the end of the show to ask him, can we turn the tables on Ryan and ask him questions? And he went, why not? So today I get the chance of interviewing Ryan. So welcome Ryan to Massage Nerd.
Oh, thanks.
You heard about it. You should really check it out on the web. Really.
Thanks.
So let's start off with, how long have you been a massage therapist? Give me a little bit about your history.
Almost 15 years now I've been a massage therapist, and before that I was a nursing assistant, residential counselor, mental health worker, chemical dependency counselor, so I was in the health field before I got into massage then.
What made you decide to go towards massage and not stay with what you were doing?
My mom.
Say more.
Yeah, she suffers from fibromyalgia, and she was getting massages on a regular basis. So she was getting some benefit out of it. So what she did was, for a couple years, she kept begging me, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that kind of thing? And then you eventually have to finally listen to your mom. So.
All the moms out there will really appreciate what you just said.
Yeah.
Wow. And so where did you get your initial training?
It's Sister Rosalind's Massage School. It was actually run by a nun. So, and she's kind of famous in Minnesota because she was actually arrested for performing massage because she didn't want to have her fingerprints and her mugshot and everything else. So the city where she's working at, she had to do those kind of things. So, and especially arresting a nun, I mean, that brought kind of national headlines too that way.
Hey, good PR from her standpoint.
Yep, exactly.
So you were initially trained by a rebellious person and you took on some of that? Is that
yeah. No.
What was it like to go through the training?
It was a little bit hard just because it was Catholic based and stuff like that, and it was just Catholic. It didn't talk about other religions and stuff, but I mainly did it just because it was convenient for me. It was in the same town that I live in. But I dealt with those kind of things, and the thing is, I chose to go there, so I had to deal with those things too then. But
now, I know.
Go ahead.
I've taught massage training in San Francisco, and I can watch the students go through their own personal as well as professional changes from being touched in a therapeutic way. Did you find yourself going through that at all, or was it a pretty smooth ride for you?
I was hooked the first day because I just felt like I finally found my calling. And I know this sounds really weird, but I just kept having this dream before I got into massage school that I was running around this school and I was naked and I was trying to get in all the time. And then when I was starting to go to massage school, this dream just totally changed. I had clothes on and I was actually flying around the school. So I was just felt like at a peace and stuff like that. But before that, I kept having that dream all the time.
Wow, that's a pretty powerful dream.
Yeah, but I never really asked anybody about what it actually meant. But I kind of simulated that I really found what I really wanted to do and stuff. And Yeah.
Did your dream change after you went through massage therapy?
Just with I mean, just flying around the school all the time. I mean, that's what and with my clothes on, and I just felt at ease and at peace and stuff. So, you know,
Wow.
you know.
So I'd love to hear a little bit more about what was your personality like when you were younger? What tell me about what Ryan was like that led up to the present time.
I myself, when I was in grade school and high school, I was really suffered from a lot of depression, and I also have severe OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and during that time, I just didn't know how to deal with it, and OCD was kind of new in a way, and I was one of the first ones in high school to actually try this one medication to try to combat OCD. But what I noticed is when I went through massage school, I actually started tapering off the medication, and I started to really find my own personality. But I don't recommend that for everybody, but that's just what worked for me. And the more I could keep busy, the less the obsessions kept on going over and over again. Then, and the psychologist I talked to, I told him I was going to be going through massage school, and they said that's probably one of the better things because it keeps you occupied all the time. Then,
Very good.
and I myself, I got to keep busy because if I'm not busy, then I start obsessing, and it's numbers. I'm always counting things over and over again all the time, and it's just stuck. And my favorite show is Monk. Have you heard of that show?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love Monk. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. And the favorite.
I watch it and go, oh, somebody else does that too, you know?
Yeah. And the favorite quote from there, it's a gift and a curse. I mean, that's the way I look at it too. So, I mean, I think the whole OCD is actually a benefit in a way because it helps me push out content and helps get my massage education in front of the masses too that way.
Yeah, I was going to ask you more about that. Is what's the gift and the challenge of OCD in terms of how professionally how you use that?
My brain doesn't stop because I'm constantly thinking of different options and ideas on the whole massage field. So that's especially with Massage Nerd. I'm just keeping thinking more videos, more articles, more content as much as possible. So whenever I think of something, I have to jot it down and do it as soon as possible. Because if I don't, then if I just sit and stop for a moment, then my obsessions start kicking in too that way. But when I'm getting massages, it actually helps too. So when giving and receiving as much as possible, it just kind of limits because I just have to learn to deal with it myself. And again it's good and bad, but I accept the good part out of it too as much as possible. Then.
Yeah, I often will. At the beginning of a massage training, I'll often ask, what did you do to get by in your family? Because that'll be your gift that you're really good at. Like I was good at observing things in my family. So I'm very good at watching clients and students. And the challenge is, whatever that you have to work with is. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm looking at the chat and somebody is asking me about no video on their end. Anyone else with a black screen? Do you have any suggestions?
Let me just check really quick.
Yeah. Came in at 7:03.
Yeah, 'cause everything's set up. Let me just check one other thing really quick.
You bet. Normally, this is the kind of I should tell a joke or do something like that. A little dance and a little da 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 da.
Yep, it works fine on my end. They just might have to refresh the page. So, and worst case scenario, sometimes people have to update their flash on their computers too. So once in a great while, that sometimes causes those kind of problems. So.
Okay, great. Well, I just wanted them to be able to get an answer.
Yep.
And even just video.
Yep.
So, what was your curiosity as a kid in terms of how you could take that curiosity and move it into massage therapy? I mean, it may fit into what you were just saying, but I'd like to know more about Ryan as a kid.
Yeah. I was extreme loner. I stayed myself at all as much as possible. I didn't have many friends at all. I mean, that's kind of hard to see. I mean, just because
Ah,
I'm out there and so I'm friendly with most people and stuff, but I was just totally different personality. And I think mainly just because I knew I had some kind of ailment or problem, but I didn't know how to react to it, and I didn't even know I had the actual diagnosis until I was 16 years old. So I
wow.
went through a long period of time with not even knowing what I had. So I wouldn't even tell people my thoughts and obsessions, and I just thought it was just and you know the whole thing with don't step on a crack, you break your mom's back. I lived
Right.
that to extreme too and stuff, but I luckily outgrew that portion. But I'm still stuck in the whole numbers thing, and it's usually always up to 21 too.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just more of a security number. So, and the thing is, I'll count something up to 21 and then forget about it and then have to count again and then forget about it and then count up again. So it's just like a continuous thing. So,
Yeah. It sounds like another episode of Monk. You
yep,
know.
exactly.
I often think that my life should be a TV show. You know, just because of how crazy it is, or how wonderful, or things like that.
Yep.
So what have you? So as a massage therapist and also doing your business, how is the OCD, or for anyone who's listening, any of their own personality challenges, how has that helped you as a massage therapist running your business?
I think it makes me more aware of somebody's body, where more aware of how people hold their body. I just more enlightened in certain areas. I can just definitely see I'm more attention to detail a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
But then sometimes when I'm supposed to be attention to detail, then it's totally opposite. It's just like, but the
Yeah.
majority of the times, it's just as long as I'm in that zone and I want to get rid of those obsessions. But when I'm having obsessions, that's when everything gets combobulated and it's hard to understand everything. Then
Yeah.
you know.
Um, so have you done, when you've been doing massage, have you worked for other people very much, or have you mostly done your own private practice?
For about a year, right after I graduated massage school, I started working for other people. But then I found out that it was hard to make a living. I was only making $8 an hour, yeah, in the late '90s, yeah, I was making $8 an hour at this one salon. But the way I look at it, I loved it because it gave me all the experience and it pushed me to open up my own business too, you know, because otherwise it would have been so hard to make a living at that low amount of wage and stuff. And being a male, I noticed it was a little bit harder too. And I was working in a spa, and typically it's a lot of females working in a spa, and typically I would get a lot of phone calls saying that they just wanted a female therapist and stuff. So then but when I opened up my own practice after that year, I didn't notice as much of a bias with gender and stuff. So that was the nice thing about that because it was my business was called Massage Works on Main because I was Main Street, and so it kind of
Yeah,
makes
that's the
sense.
way to do it.
Yep, but it would be kind of hard to franchise that because you would have to
It's hard to find a logo that fit for all of that possibilities. So,
yeah.
uh, so then, what did you learn from working in that spa that you could then take on to working more privately?
Um, what I learned is to spend more attention to detail for the clients because a lot of times the spa I worked at, it was just every hour on the hour. They were
Right.
booking massages, and again, I wasn't busy all the time. But when I did have a back to back, there wasn't much time to really connect with the clients. So when I opened up my business, I actually scheduled a half an hour in between each client, just so I could give them maybe 5 or 10 minutes of a hot pack afterwards, and just so they didn't feel rushed, and so I didn't feel rushed. Because the thing is, when I feel rushed, my day's shot. So that's why I always have to be early for everything. And if I'm not
Yeah.
early for something, it's just I can't remember the last time I wasn't early for something. So
Yeah. I used to try to pack, 25 hours into every day, and I would notice that that would make me so tense in my body that when I finally got wherever I wanted, I wasn't relaxed, and I started to do the same thing and just cut back. So there's a little breathing room.
Yep.
You know, there's a little space there.
And with my parents, they're never on time for anything, so that's why I just kind of rebelled in a way, and I said I have to be on time or early for everything too. So
Yeah. Well, and it's also a good role model for your kids too.
yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what like to be have two girls and yet still run a business out of your house and still do massage. How do you balance that
It's
personal and professional?
well, luckily they're 9 and 6 right now, so they're a little bit older. So it's not the toddler ages where they're running all over all the time and stuff. So it's a but the problem is I'm always busy. I'm always on the computer, even after work hours. I'm always connected somehow. So I have to. My wife, she pulls me away from the computer so many times a day just to give me a break. Otherwise, it's again, it's like an obsession in a way, but that's why I deal with my obsessions. I have to keep busy as much as possible. And for myself, it's hard to even watch a full length movie just because if I get bored with it, I
Yep. Like okay.
yeah.
My foot is always wiggling, you know, when I'm sitting too long, and
Yep.
my wife knows that that's a sign. Going, okay, well, it's time to. Why don't you go do something else, Jim?
Yep.
So how do you internally balance that of wanting to be with family yet at the same time wanting to go for your passion?
That's hard because I'm such a workaholic in a way. So, again, if it wasn't for my wife, I would start neglecting my kids more and stuff too. Even though I love my kids, I'm just
Sure.
so absorbed in my work. And luckily, I have a strong wife that will pull me away, and then we got to do this, we got to do that kind of thing. But during the day, she's pretty much lenient just because I started working for Bon Mattel and their social media director. So but again, I have to be connected even on after hours and weekends too, for this new position. So,
What do you do to relax when you've worked yourself up? What
music,
what is?
music. That's the yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah. And it's more techno music. That's my favorite. So,
Oh,
I know it sounds weird, techno music and relaxing, but that's relaxing for me. So,
uh-huh.
yeah.
Do you ever, did you say you DJ'd at one point?
No, no, no.
Oh, okay. I thought I had heard you say that last time we talked.
Yeah.
What's something that you do with your family that you like to do?
I love to go to water parks with the girls because they're both really good swimmers, and they really enjoy that. And usually a few times a week we go to parks too, just to unwind too. So I just watch them run and play with them that way. Then so you know,
Kids are good for us to model
yeah,
after, you know.
yeah, exactly.
They know how to just let it loose and really cut loose and go for
Yep, I wish I could be a kid again. You know.
it. A listener asked, um, did you have a cash stash before you went out on your own?
I I wish I did, and but I didn't at all. But luckily, when I went out on my own, it was actually with another massage therapist, and she sold her business. She was a cosmetologist, and she had some upfront money. So what she did was she invested a lot of the money in the business to start off with, and but for the next 6 months, I didn't take much of a paycheck, so I just kept paying her back during that first 6 months. But I also worked part time in a nursing home during that time too, so I still had an income then. But I wish I would pocketed some money and saved some money, but I just felt, I mean, work $8 an hour during that time period and stuff like that. It was hard to make a living at that, so that's why I did whatever I had to. But I could have asked a loan for my parents or other things else, but luckily my business partner really worked out that way.
Wow, that's very good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of massage therapists, a lot of my students think that when they go out after massage school, they have to really make it full time right away. And there was a recent article in Massage Magazine that talked about how important it might be to have a backup job, a part time job, as you're building up your business.
Yeah, and it was a nice balance too, so I didn't get burnt out too while I was giving massages. But eventually, after 2 years, then I started building out more clientele, so I started doing that three-fourths time, and just a fourth time with the nursing home then too. But soon, a couple of years of having my own business, then I branched out and started teaching then. So
Yeah. So tell me about that. How did that happen?
there's two things I never wanted to do when I was going through massage school. I never wanted to own my own business, and I never wanted to teach. I kept having that in my head. I never want to do this. I know how much they have to go through and stuff, but it kind of pushed me. And my dad, he retired 5 years ago as a fifth grade school teacher, and I just felt I needed to at least try it just because he did it. And but
Mhm.
he was a great sounding board for any kind of things that came up and stuff. And he said that first year teaching, the students are going to learn hardly anything, but you're going to learn tons. So
Yeah.
the thing is, if you can just get past that first year, then it's all gravy after that. Then,
Can I ask where you started teaching?
yeah, Minnesota School of Business. I started in January 2001, and
Okay.
what I did was on a Friday they gave me a book and a syllabus, and on Monday I started teaching. So,
Throw you from the pan into the fire, or
yep,
whatever that saying is.
and it was 18 females, and I was just totally outnumbered and stuff like that. But most of the jobs I've worked in my profession, I've always totally been outnumbered. But I just feel connection with females. I get along with them even better than most males and stuff like that. It seems, and even some of the friends I had in high school, it seemed like I had more females than males and stuff. Then,
Yeah, yeah, it's the same thing for me too. And
yep.
so, what were some of the challenges for being a teacher for you?
Um, I definitely know that there was. It didn't seem like there was any bias at all with gender, so that's a huge thing. So I like that part. But I always had to stay like 2 or 3 steps ahead of the students all the time. So that's why I was constantly researching all the time. And one thing I learned early on is never admit that you know everything.
Right.
Because the thing is, it's okay to say, oh, I don't know that right now, or I think I know it, but let me check just to make sure. It's okay to say those kind of things. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know when I take a class, I really appreciate a teacher that will say what they know and also admit what they don't know. And so they're, they show that they're real people. They're not just these only think that they know everything people.
yep. And this one time I was a doctor at a doctor many years ago, and they actually had to look something up, and I actually applauded when he did that, and I said I appreciate you even more just because you wanted to make sure that this was the right thing, and so I don't expect you to know everything, even though that society thinks just because you're a doctor you know everything,
Of
but
course.
you don't. So,
Well, I know that massage students, and this is probably true for any student, are not only learning technical information, but they're also watching for role models. They're watching for the teacher to model how to listen to people, how to connect, how to feed back to them, how to be, uh, not above and below, but try to work with them, and yet they still know a lot more than the beginning student. So I know that students really look to the teacher to show humility as well as information.
yep. And I would constantly make fun of myself all the time, and the way I did it, I mean, I was laughing all the time too in class, just to make them more at ease too. So I mean, I was serious maybe 10% of the time, but I'm always joking around and just having a fun time. And it seems like
Yeah.
they absorbed a lot more too that way by joking. But every now and then you're going to get a student that wants to be serious all the time and stuff. But luckily, a lot of times there was other instructors, so they might have had a class or two with me, and then they had a class with other instructors, so it kind of balanced out in the long run too that way.
What were some of your favorite classes to teach?
The ultimate favorite is the intro class. It was a Swedish massage class, so it was the first quarter because I love students. That first quarter, I mean, they're wet behind the ears. They're all excited about everything. It's just when they're getting in the last quarter, that's when some of them they kind of lose interest or they kind of get scared too because I call it senioritis. They have to go out in the real world and start making a living at this too then.
Yeah,
But always that first quarter, I just loved having students then. So
that's great.
yeah.
Here's a question from a listener. What was the most difficult concept to put across to your students?
Uh,
Yeah, good question.
yeah. When I first started teaching, when I was talking about energy work, just because at that time I didn't really believe about it, but it was in the curriculum, so I had to talk about it and demonstrate it and everything else. But that was, I think, my biggest barrier in the beginning. But eventually, I started to, I took some classes on energy work and really started to delve into it and understand it more. But I felt like I was gypping the students in a way too, just because I didn't want to say, oh, I don't believe in this stuff at all. But that's why I did some research and took some classes just to understand it more for myself.
Well, and what a good role model again to simply let them know that even if you question whether something is true for you, be open to it.
Yep,
You know,
exactly.
just see. You don't have to believe. I mean, I tell my students, don't believe everything I'm telling you, because I want you to go and listen to what I'm teaching, practice it, but then go find out what's true for yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know.
Which, having a 16-year-old daughter, I'm used to somebody not listening to what I'm saying, so, and believing me. So.
Yep. And she's watching right now, right?
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully she's doing her own thing.
Yep.
Got another question from you get great questions. Wow. Do you feel that a massage therapist can be complete or effective without an Eastern or energy modality in their tool belt?
I definitely agree with that because energy. I mean, Eastern medicine. I mean, you got to have years and years of experience and schooling in order to totally understand that. I would say to really delve into that. I mean, with the Asian medicine, with the acupressure points and everything else. I mean, especially here in the West, where there's not a lot of training for that area. I mean, we're just skimming the surface is what's happening. I mean, there's a few shiatsu schools here and there and stuff, but it just not enough in the actual massage school to actually really grasp that. Then,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for me, I've been one of my senior students. Her name is Susan, and she's an acupuncture graduate and now licensed. And I'm fascinated to listen to all that she knows because it's way beyond anything I've ever studied. And I try to listen to it and then see how to incorporate it into my own work because we're all just trying to take what we learn and use it.
Yeah.
So, what made you end up? So you ended up teaching for a while. How did you end up now into the Massage Nerd website technical world? Tell me about that transition.
That's because of my students.
Yep,
I mean,
yep, I
yeah,
understand.
some
Go
of my,
ahead.
yeah, some of my students, when they didn't show up for class, they sometimes expected me to still go over what they missed in class. So I did that for the first year or so. Kept staying after class or catching them up on things. But after that, I was getting a little burnt out. So what I actually did was I started taking pictures of the techniques, and then I eventually went to video then too. Because with the pictures is one thing, but people learn different, so that's why I had to have a different option and do videos of it too then. And then I started putting the videos online, and then I wanted a place to host everything. So that's why in 2006, that's in January 2006, that's when I launched MassageNerd just to make it a little bit easier for the students to find everything. And the reason why I came up with the term massage nerd is some of my students would make fun of me that I kept remembering massage facts and everything else, and they kept saying, "Oh, you're a massage nerd." And then the first time I heard that, I said, "I'm going to go look and see if that domain's available," and I bought it the next day. Then, so I was
There we
kind of
go.
surprised it was available, but I've been having it ever since.
Yeah. Student becomes teacher to help you along
Yeah,
too.
yeah, exactly.
Uh, so then, from when you first started with Massage Nerd, of just showing some of the techniques that you recorded, was it? How did you develop it and grow it from there?
um,
How did you go from there?
I think it was because of my OCD too.
Sure.
Just because I kept thinking, oh, there's not enough information, and I was so frustrated when I was going through massage school. I mean, the internet was around, but there wasn't a lot of information out there. So I kind of rebelled in a way and just put all my knowledge as much as possible out on the web. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
just kept pushing out content as much as possible. Then.
We have a question that says, "Why did you stop selling the Massage Nerd video?"
Um, what I've noticed on Amazon, they want a lot higher quality videos. And the thing is, I didn't at the time I didn't have a lot of money to invest in videos.
Right.
So what I did was I got a little bit frustrated with the negative comments, and it was mostly on the quality of the video. It's not with the actual techniques and stuff, but and I just said, heck with it. I'm just going to put everything online for free. So I broke all the videos up into segments and threw them up on YouTube. And then after a year or so of that, then everything just blossomed because then YouTube started the whole partnership program. So I started making money off my videos. So I was actually making the same amount I was making before when I was selling videos on Amazon, but I was getting out a lot more people this way to that.
Ah.
Yeah.
So tell me how why is video so important for a massage practice? If you were talking to somebody who's just begun or who's been doing massage for a while.
What's happening a lot now is when people, let's say they're searching for a massage therapist in the city where you live, more than likely when they enter, let's say massage and let's say Minneapolis, Minnesota, they're entering those terms into Google. More than likely, a video might pop up in the search engine. So once you want it to be of your business instead of your competitor's business, so and Google loves old videos too. So the longer the videos have been around too, the more likely to pop up. So that's why I recommend people, even if you don't really want your video up in a way, you updated it, it's a good idea just to leave it up because it's going to get that traction then too as much as possible. Because so many therapists, they're starting to catch on, but that's why I think it really helped me in the beginning. So again, when 2006, when I uploaded my first video to YouTube and these other video sharing sites, I had a heads up on most massage therapists and everything else. So that's how I was able to get a big following during that time then, because I was one of the few massage therapists that were putting out regular videos on a regular basis. And I typically average at least one video a day. That's what I've been putting out on a regular basis. So I got close to 4,000 videos now on YouTube.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, you do keep yourself busy that way.
Yep, yep. But I'm starting to branch out in many different areas. So I'm interviewing people at conferences. I'm doing product reviews. You name it. I'm trying to get all different areas. So I basically want a one-stop shop for anything video and massage related as much as possible. Then,
Mhm.
you know.
So if you were talking to somebody just starting out, how would you recommend the steps for them to take in order to include video as part of their public relations?
I think the easiest way to do that is just by watching video tutorials on YouTube. Because the thing is, the information's out there, and you don't have to have the highest quality camera. I mean, with YouTube, you can even record from your webcam now. That's what's so nice about it. So if you want something really quick, let's say you have a special going on, just go into YouTube, and when you hit upload, and then there's an option to actually record from your webcam, you can just record it that way as long as you have okay decent webcam that way. But otherwise, there are many tutorials out there, and I've helped many massage therapists make videos too. And sometimes what they'll do is they'll actually just send me a script, send me some pictures, and I'll do a voiceover and make a video out of the pictures too, just so they can have something out there to start off with. But but the trick is how the videos are being found are the title. That's one of the main things. So you want to have as much information in there. So you want the name of your business, possibly even your name, but you also want the name of your city, your state in that area too. Because again, when people are Googling for these kind of information, you want that in there as much as you can. And then also tags. I mean, for tags, it's not as important as say for actual websites, but for video, it's hard to find things. So that's why you still do need those tags. So like keywords and things like that, that's where you're going to add for that. Then it's always important to have the description explaining about the video too, because again, when Google searches for things on videos and web and everything else, they're looking for text as much as possible. So that's why the more text you can have, the better, and more likely to pop up in search engines then.
Hmm. What
Yeah.
are someone asked in the chat? What are the most popular videos that you've done? You have,
Yeah, the most popular ones are the more basic massage techniques. Because the more advanced stuff, you'd think they'd get a lot more views and everything else, but it seems like a lot of the more basic, like chair massage or just couples massage or even just Swedish massage, those are the ones that get seen a lot more because I'm gearing towards the average public too. But I'm
yeah.
also getting people interested in massage as much as possible. So the more times people see these, more likely they might book for a massage too. And I get many comments a day stating that people just love watching my videos just because it feels like they're getting a massage and they're even kind of relaxing because some of them I just don't even have voice in there. All I do is just have music in the background and people just watch that and then they fall asleep doing that way too.
You ever get on the table and get massage for your videos?
Usually not, no. But I've hired massage therapists to shoot videos too that way. So that's why I can got a lot more content that way too. And I'm starting to branch out in other areas like chiropractic and personal training too. So I'm seeing a correlation with all this. So I mean, some personal trainers are massage therapists, and a lot of
Right.
chiropractors hire massage therapists. So that's why I want to kind of gear towards those areas too. Then.
Huh. So, do you sleep at all?
Maybe 4 or 5 hours a night it seems. So
I can imagine your mind is just going, going, going.
yeah, yeah, that's what it's
Which is
doing.
great. I mean, I've read stories about great CEOs, great leaders are some people who are just compulsed. Just their passion is they're driven to want to accomplish something, and we could call that OCD nowadays too. So
Yeah. Yep. It's so.
you may not be alone.
Yep. So again, I mean, with OCD, I mean, so there's some people that are a lot more severe with it too, and sometimes it actually cripples them that they can't do a lot. But luckily for myself, again, I found a way to kind of harness that in a way, so I can do that. So another question in the chat. No.
I was looking at that one. Some of the questions you get on chat is fascinating.
Yeah.
I want to just go and talk with people.
Yeah. I
I've
love.
got to. So for you, when you are doing massage, what are your joys and challenges? What keeps you going, and what holds you back sometimes?
I mean, I just recently started giving massages again because I was missing that physical content. Because for 11 years I was teaching massage and I was helping out students and helping the students help other people as much as possible. I mean, I'm still able to do that by my videos and everything else, but I just like that personal satisfaction in a way too, helping people as much as possible. You know,
Where do you see? So let's see. You got your initial training in massage what year?
in '97.
97.
Yeah.
Okay. So um, where do you see the the profession moving to? Where do you see? When I first started massage, that was 30 years ago, and there wasn't chair massage. There wasn't going in and doing oncology massage. There wasn't pregnancy. There wasn't a whole lot of things. There wasn't sports massage even at that time very much. And the profession has just grown and evolved in so many different ways. Tell me what your vision sees of the future.
I see so much moving online. I mean, just because we're so connected all the time, and even with video, I mean, it seems like with my videos, it's around 35 to 40% of my videos are actually being viewed on a mobile device. I mean, yeah, people
Wow.
are a lot more connected on a regular basis. And I also see it getting into hospitals a lot more too. I'd love to see every single hospital have numerous massage therapists because I think that's where it's going to give even more credibility to massage therapy. Because I mean, we're starting to get there, and the thing is, I mean, even hospitals they perform energy work too, so there's a balance. You don't have to have it just therapeutic, relaxing Swedish massage or deep tissue, but you can add all these different modalities in there as much as possible. So that's where I definitely love to see everything going, and just more respect in the community as a massage therapist, and I myself, I mean, numerous times I always get called masseuse or masseur and stuff like that, and it's just like I don't care. as long as you don't mean it in a negative way, because the average public doesn't understand the difference. So
Right.
it's just like, oh, it's no big deal. And if I think that they're saying it in a mean way, and then I'll correct them right then and there. And it's
Mhm.
just, I'm more of a laid back attitude with those kind of things. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
think, as you say, the education is as important as anything with clients. And it's language. You know, if they've heard on TV masseuse or masseur or things like this, then they'll take that on and not understand that, it can be much more, it can go much deeper than that.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you about the joys and challenges of the massage nerd part of it, the whole other thing that you're doing. Where are your what feeds you in terms of joys, and then what are the challenges for you?
The regular comments and the appreciation for what I'm doing out there. And what I notice too is when I'm going to all these massage conferences, I don't realize how well I'm known until I actually get to these conferences. And then people are sometimes even, they want pictures taken me with me and autographs and stuff like that. And I'm really shy when somebody comes up and says, "Oh, can I have a picture?" or "Can I have your autograph?" and stuff. I almost feel embarrassed. This like I don't realize how much information I'm giving to people and helping them out, but it's starting to kind of sink in that all these people that I'm actually helping out there, when I'm actually able to see them in person, then so
Yeah, I think being a teacher, and especially being in your role where you're out there over the internet, and you haven't met them personally, and yet the odds are you've touched many people's hearts
yeah,
with the work that you're doing. And people come up to me after a big convention presentation, and I may not have had contact with them one on one, but they'll say, "Thank you. This was really impactful." And it's like I have to kind of take a breath in and just go, "You're welcome."
yeah. And one thing that I really love too is, I mean, one of my highlights in my career too was when I met Dr. Tiffany Field in person, because remember back in when massage school, I was reading about her and everything else, and but I'm actually meeting all these people that I read back in massage books way back in the day then. So it's nice to kind of put two and two together, and they're just normal people too, like us. So
Mhm. What have you learned from watching other people, from either being presenters or other teachers? What have you learned both personally and professionally?
Um, from other presenters, I try to add as much humor in it as possible. I think one of the most dramatic, cool presenters is David Kent. I don't know if you know who he is, but
Heard of him. I haven't ever
yeah,
seen him.
yeah, but yeah, he teaches a lot with trigger point therapy. But he's really dramatic, and he gets the students and everything really going and stuff. But I love seeing those kind of things, and then the aha moment on students as much as possible too, and this lets you know that there's a light bulb above them, that it just kind of clicks, you know.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. I'm aware of my daughter being in high school. How in high school there can be people that a teacher that can affect somebody's life for a long time. They've really touched them, and the same thing, in professionally. When I'm with a teacher that has really had an impact on me, it's pretty powerful.
Yep.
So what do you see? Um, where do you want to go next? Well, you already talked about a little bit in terms of personal training and things like this, but where do you want to go next with Massage Nerd and this work?
Um, I definitely think it's helping out a lot that I'm working for Bomb Batal now, because the thing is, they're so known in the massage industry that it's actually helping me out a lot too. And then I'm learning the whole business aspect more, because before I myself, I have a hard time charging for things sometimes, especially in the beginning. I felt like I wasn't worthy enough to sell things or for people to buy things. So I'm starting to come to the point where I just recently, just today, a book came out that Laura Allen and I rewrote on. It's for massage educators. So that's one goal I've wanted to do for many, many years. That I wanted to write a book, and I was never that good of a writer. But luckily, Laura Allen, she's an awesome writer, and she did a lot of the editing of the stuff that I wrote. So she actually helped me out a lot in that aspect.
Is that all available now yet?
Yep, it just came out today. So yep.
What's the name of it?
Massage therapy educators. It's It's a manual for massage educators, so for teachers, for school owners, and also continuing education providers. So, because the thing is,
So
there's what?
let's plug it a little bit more. Where can they get it?
Yeah. Right now, it's just available on CreateSpace.com, but it will be available on Amazon in the next couple weeks, and then many other outlets too. So we're going to branch out to go those different routes. And we decided to self-publish it because with self-publishing, you can get it out a lot faster. But if you go through an actual distributor, sometimes it takes 2 years or more just for once you're actually done with it before it gets in people's hands. So we wanted to get that information out as soon as we could, and then we can still reach out all those different areas like Amazon and you name it, those places too. So
Hmm.
you
Any other books in your head that want to come out?
I want to get more of technique wise books because so many massage books out there, they don't have a lot of actual techniques. But it seems like books are kind of dying in a way. I mean, it's um, video is definitely king, but things are going on so people can read them on the iPad or Kindle and those things. But at least people are still reading in that aspect. But I think the actual physical book is kind of dying in a way. So I might like to again with the techniques as much as possible, but again, so many massage books don't have a lot of techniques, and that's what I was frustrated with too back in the '90s when I was going through all my massage books. That I had to kind of make up a lot of my massage techniques just because there wasn't a lot of information out there. And most of my instructors yelled at me on a regular basis. They said, "Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that." But there was one instructor that I still talk to her this day. I call her my mentor, but she always praised me for thinking outside of the box and thinking of different things. And she never yelled at me for these kind of things. And she actually loved it that I was more creative in that aspect. So,
You know, for some people who it's hard for them to stick to just what's being shown, it's really nice to have mentors, teachers want to support that
yeah,
because, I was massage school I went to. You were for your final, you were supposed to do exactly the same that the teacher showed. And what I like about other schools that I've taught at is that take what you learn and then put it together into a Ryan massage rather than just a school massage.
yep. Because that's what it seems like. I mean, some schools, they really want you to have a certain routine down. And because the school I went to, they were all about routine all the time. But I myself, I couldn't do that because and I tried that for a while and it got stuck. And it was hard to branch out. So that's when I just started creating things as much as possible then. And
So if time and money weren't an issue in life, if you didn't have to take care of family, what would you be doing?
I would probably still be giving massages, just because I love doing it. And it's peaceful for myself because it seems like when I'm giving a massage, it's almost like I'm receiving in a way too, that I'm helping out as much as possible. And my goal is to receive more massages on a regular basis. So I mean, average of maybe once a month, if that kind of thing. So I want to up that and a lot more, so on a regular basis to receive more massages because it makes us more in tune to our own body. I think that's the big thing because I have a lot of aches and pains and in all my joints. It seems like they're hypermobile, so I mean they're going all different directions. So that's why I need regular body work on a regular basis too. So
Yeah, the type of work I do, as you know, is called orthobionomy, and I've been noticing the past week, especially that the clients that when their body starts to soften up, it's their emotions soften, their attitudes, their ideas start to just come out and become much more creative. So it's truly the body mind connection is so powerful.
yep, big time. So
Yeah. Anything else? Where would you live if you weren't living where if you were to choose someplace else to live?
somewhere with a neutral temperature all year round. Because I used to love living in Minnesota, but for the last month we've been going through a heat wave. I mean, it's in the upper 90s. I mean, continuous. I mean, that's why I love living up here because all the different seasons. But I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
But you need about two or three houses around the world and to
Yep.
set up your web work with.
isn't California kind of neutral with temperature in a way, or?
I live in the San Francisco area, and yeah, it isn't as extreme certainly as Southern California where the desert is, or the Midwest. So,
Yeah.
hey, you just got to come out here and bring your computer. That's
Yep.
all. And all of your other equipment and your, I mean,
Yeah.
which is probably bags and bags.
Yeah, I need a U-Haul just for the equipment. So.
Yeah, that's very much so.
Yep.
So, I know that we're coming close to the last few minutes. What's your dreams? If you were to say, where is Ryan going to be in 5 years from now? What would you like? What would your dreams, visions, and goals be?
I definitely want to still stay in the massage industry, and I'm really happy with Bon Patel, and they really love me to still keep up with Massage Nerd too, because everybody wins in that way too. So I just want to keep my hands on the pulse of massage therapy, start putting out even more content on a regular basis. But it seems like social media is where it's at right now, but you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You always have to kind of diversify as much as possible. So that's why myself, when I first started putting videos out, I only put it on a few sites, but eventually I started putting it out a lot more because, again, more likely your videos aren't going to be seen by everybody. So that's why you want a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, then as much as possible. Then so.
Is that a suggestion that you have for new people in the field? Is keep aware of all the different social media?
Yep. And then again, Facebook is where it's at right now, it seems. But you never know. I mean, have you heard of MySpace at all?
Heard of, yes.
I mean,
it's a dinosaur, I believe.
Yeah, that was a big thing. And before that, it was Friendster. I mean, Friendster was a really big social media and stuff. But again, something's going to overtake it. So that's why. Um, but that's why with Bon Patel, I'm concentrating on Pinterest and also Google Plus and Twitter and all these different avenues, even Tumblr. I mean, you got to go out there and see what people are at, because you just never know when something's going to be pulled out from underneath the rug and something else is going to take over then.
Yeah. Which reminds me of how important continuing education is.
Oh, that's huge, you know. And the thing is,
Yeah.
it keeps you creative too, because I just ran into one of my past students today at Walmart, and she was just saying said she was starting to feel really burnt out, and I told her, and she says she's busy all the time, and I said that's a good thing, but luckily she's going to be taking some workshops coming up, and she thinks that will really help renew her to throw different things into it. But the main thing is take workshops that you think you'll um, do some research on it too. So thinking of how you can incorporate it into your current clients and offer them to them too, because you just don't want something so off the wall that you're never going to use. Because I've seen that happen so many times. People are going to take a workshop, think it's the next big thing, and then it's just not their personality, or it's just not going to gear towards their clients then. So.
Well, I've taken classes where a month later, if I didn't integrate it into my practice, I'll look at the handouts going, was I there?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even remember, because our lives are fast, and if we're not able to integrate it, it doesn't always work. Yep. So let me ask you, is there anything else I forgot to ask you?
No, I think you got everything.
Well, if I did, we'll have to do another one down the road.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's been a pleasure, Ryan.
Well, thank you very much. It's I love your personality, man. It's I'm so looking forward to today too. So
it's been fun to play with you, both personally and professionally.
Yep. And we've never met in person yet. So.
No, we haven't. We will down the road.
Yep. See the value of the internet. So.
Very much so.
Yep.
So I'll let you take over at this point.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jim, and thank you for everybody for tuning in. So I think you kind of peered into my whole mind, and hopefully I didn't scare you too much then. So. Okay. Thanks, everyone.